There's those guys. Let's get Facebook in here as well, and we can start the show. Get the wheels spinning. Mango bango. 1 and 2. All righty. All right. Welcome in. It is Tuesday, the 25th. Carl, we're a month out till Christmas. Broncos playing at Arrowhead as well. And happy Thanksgiving week. It's good to see you. I'm Nick Kendell, joined by the one, the only Carl Dumler. And we're ramping things up after the bye week. And Broncos sitting here 9-2, second place in the AFC, just because the Patriots have played one more game. Week 14 bye week for the Patriots. Holy cow.
That's weird.
Carl, yeah, it's good to see you, man. Happy Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, same to you, man. And just getting excited. I was just packing the car right before I came on here, and I stopped by my parents. My son made the comment that he wanted to try shooting a gun this weekend. And so all my old guns that I had from a kid were over there, and so we're gonna go do a little target practice and get a little father-son bonding time and eat a lot of good food. So it's gonna be a good weekend.
Yeah, I am very excited for the football games on Thursday. I can't remember what the last game is. I wasn't that interested in that one, but you got Packers, Lions, and of course you got Cowboys, Chiefs. And I think Friday, there's a Black Friday game. I think they just started that last season, and it's Eagles, Bears. So some pretty good football games. Of course, Iowa, Nebraska as well. Everybody's waiting for that one on Black Friday. But yeah, I'm excited. A lot of fun football games after a week that didn't look good on paper and ended up being a pretty good game. And it's Bengals, Ravens. Joe Burrow might be back though, so maybe interesting game there Thursday night, but not as intriguing as the slate looked preseason, I will say. But yeah, it should be a good one. Carl, what is your go-to favorite Thanksgiving? What's on your plate? You have to have. It's not Thanksgiving without this.
I would say green bean casserole.
Green bean casserole. Okay.
Yeah, I know it's not everybody's choice, but
my wife,
I don't know, the crunch of the topping, the mushroom sauce with the green beans. I mean, it's got all the flavors, all the textures that you really want for a meal. And I got to have that on my plate. What about you?
Me? I mean, I know it's become kind of a cold take, if you will, but I love turkey, man. I especially love the legs, the leg meat, the dark meat from it. I guess I grew up with good cooks in my family because some people complain about it. I've never had bad, I've had turkeys, Friendsgivings. It's like the dry white meat, but like I would get the leg and it would be juicy, smoked. I mean, I love turkey. And I know it's a lot of people roast beef, ham, whatever. But I'm a fan of the bird at the end of the day. And shout out to my grandma and my mom for making that the case, because they did a lot of work on that over the years.
Yeah, I mean, if we're just talking turkey legs,
yes,
I can agree with you. If we're talking the whole turkey,
I'll eat all of it.
There's
I love the leftover sandwiches too. Somebody said the Hawaiian rolls as well. Like just that with a little bit of mayo, that could sustain me until Christmas. The King Hawaiian rolls with the leftover turkey meat and a squirt of mayo. Oh man, I'm so hungry. I'm so excited. Maybe even some potato chips on there. I don't know if that's sacrilegious, but what's not sacrilegious? You guys let us know what you're in there thinking about for Thanksgiving as well. I mean, I love it all. It's all so good. My wife's favorite is the green bean casserole. She will make that beyond just Thanksgiving, which I don't know if it's the best health-wise, but God bless. It's good for the soul. Papa Bear, also good for the soul. David Mickelrath, 2880, better known as Papa Bear, saying, good evening, Broncos country, 13-4. I mean, gosh, David, at the beginning of the season, I'd have said you're a grand optimist here, but Denver, they have some tough games down the stretch here, but they could go better than 13-4 at this point.
I was going to say
13-4 feels like what Vegas would put it at right now, I would think, but that might be right on the money, man.
I know he might be the pessimist now in this whole conversation. I'm just kidding, Dave, because you've been the optimist all season long, and so I don't want to take that from you, but no, you're right. I think 13-4 is almost not the floor, but I mean, it's pretty darn close to the floor. You've got two very winnable games. You've got two of your harder games at home after that with the Packers and the Jaguars. And then it's Chiefs and Chargers at home. I think Chargers are on the downhill right now, just the way that they're looking. I mean, I know they're getting Hampton back here pretty soon, and he's a tough runner, but I don't think that's their problem.
No.
I mean, it helps, but it's not going to be that big of a helper compared to what they've lost. And so, yeah, I think
just do less hits for Herbert, right? Like that's like,
yeah,
instead of Herbert just getting killed every snap, you can hand it off sometimes, let somebody else get hit in behind the line of scrimmage.
Right. And so really, I mean, other than the Chiefs game on Christmas Day, Broncos should be very favored in every single one of these games. And I mean,
I'm not sure about the Packer game. I'm not sure about
true, but it's at home. It's at home. If let's say they win those 3 games leading up to that one, you're going to be favored in that one.
Probably.
Maybe it's only 3 points, 3-4 points, but they're still going to be favored. So, and it'll and some of it will depend on what does Bo Nix look like over the next few weeks. If he looks like he's figured something out, then yeah, people are going to be going, crap, these Broncos can't be beaten. Now they've got a quarterback. They got that defense. They got an offensive line that's playing out of this world. Weapons that are okay. Yeah. And we got Shiloh coming in saying maybe ignorant, but I don't fear the Pats as of now. And great to see that you've been a member for a month there, Shiloh. Always love to see that. And the Pats, they're a tough team because I do think that they have a very solid defense. They got a lot of nice pieces out there. They lost a couple of them this last week. I'm interested to see now that their left tackle and their left guard are down. How does that change things? Because May last year, behind a very bad offensive line, did not look like a great quarterback. This year, with a revamped offensive line, has looked like a top 3 quarterback.
Yeah, that's high. Sorry, I just like 3. It makes me balk, but the numbers are up there for sure.
Yeah, it's top 5. We'll go top 5. I think we can say that pretty securely for him this year. And so I'm interested to see how that changes things for this offense. I think those are very significant losses, especially Will Campbell. I mean, that's your top 5 pick that you got this year that has been playing very well for a rookie. And now he's gone as that backside protector. You know, maybe things speed up in May's head a little bit, wondering, am I going to get hit from behind? All those kind of things. So we'll just have to see how they handle that. I'm with you. I think while their record is what their record is, they've been playing a pretty darn easy schedule. Yeah. And so hey, they've won the opponents that they've played against. That's what you're supposed to do. And a lot of them they've blown out. But even like this last week, let's say Jamar Chase plays. I'm not sure that they beat the Cincinnati Bengals if Jamar Chase is in that game.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? I mean, the same things that apply to the Broncos apply to the other teams as well, right? So you play who's in front of you, and luckily it's a long enough season that it tends to normalize over the longest sample size. I know the chat's going to balk at me for this. I never, pander to the chat. Sometimes I will. But until the Chiefs are cold, dead in the ground, they're the team that I fear in the AFC. Nobody else, I think, is fear-worthy. I know they're 6-5, but a lot of their advanced stats say this is a better Chiefs team than last year. I don't really believe in the one-score luck things as far as like, oh, we figured it out now. I think it's a lot of just luck. If you flip a coin enough times, eventually your heads and your tails are going to even out. And they're having the kind of slide compared to what they had last season, or the longest one-score streak in NFL history. I think it was one-score winning streak in NFL history. So we'll see how it plays out, but happy to have that win over the Chiefs. And shout out to Shiloh, shout out to Papa Bear. Really excited. We talked about all these games coming up this week. Obviously, talking about offensive line injuries, Trey Smith is dealing with some stuff as well. And we have to bet a little bit of I'm curious where the line will be for this upcoming Patriots-Chiefs game. And that makes me want to talk about who's going to be the underdog. And I saw the cat.
That's right. Yeah, that's for sure. And talking about underdog, football season is in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get it in on all the action. Are you ready to get off the bench and into the game? Then head over to Underdog. Whether you're into basketball, football, hockey, or any sport in between, Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action all season long. And it's that time again. Feast Week is back on Underdog from November 26th through November 30th. Check the app daily for special promos.
That's right. Playing Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats such as rushing yards, touchdowns, reception, and more. Get your picks right, and you can win up to $5,000 your cash.
You can have so much fun playing Underdog, and winning money while watching football, that's a touchdown, you guys. Download the Underdog app today and sign up with promo code MHuddle to score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code MHuddle. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next?
Be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Awesome. Shout out to Underdog and shout out to Papa Bear and Shiloh as well coming in, hanging out here. Although you guys don't have to give super chats for us to talk to you in here. Of course, we're not that exclusive, but drop the thumbs up, like, subscribe, share. That helps us a heck of a lot. Speaking of all our fans here, good evening from Michael Ronquillo. Great to see you. Ernie Mays is in the house. Appreciate you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. We got MBLE test prep coming in. Say, yo soy fiesta. Carl, what have you done? Did you shave down a little bit? I'm not sure what's going on here.
Yes, my wife and I had a miscommunication.
Oh no.
She told me that she was tired of kissing hair when she tried to come in for a kiss. I thought that meant trim up the entire beard. She just meant around the mouth area.
Okay.
And so then I came home with it all and she goes, "What did you do?" So little miscommunication. I didn't fully understand what she was saying. I thought she said it was getting too crazy, needed to get it trimmed down. I miss it. It is not fun, but it'll be back in a couple weeks.
Okay. Well, I never go tired of kissing your hair, Carl. So next meet and greet. No. Oh, sorry. I cannot help it. Good to see Daniel Berry Sports. Appreciate you. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy Tuesday to you. Appreciate you. We got also William coming in. Says, I'm with Carl. You have to have the green bean casserole. Michael says mashed potatoes, turkey legs of the goat. There we go. King Hawaiian rolls. Great, great. Roy Osborne in the house. Hey, Nick and Carl, go all Broncos country. There you go. Appreciate you. Roy saying prime rib, turkey, homemade stuffing, mashed potatoes. Gosh. Ernie Mays says, why not 15-2? Yeah, why not 15? I mean, Vegas thinks Denver will drop a few, but, not to be too cliche, but every time you get a win, it's one less game that you have to worry about that, right? So beat the Commanders, take care of business. Beat the Raiders, take care of business. I mean, the only game that I think Denver will be definitive underdogs will be at Kansas City. And I do think that the Jags-Packers game will probably be a 3-point spread or less. We'll see what happens with the Jag. I mean, they're hard to read right now. The one that I'm not sure about, and maybe you as well, Ernie Mays, but that Week 18 game, if Denver has the first seed, wrapped up, what are they doing? Are they going to, Kansas City Chiefs it last season with the first round bye? Maybe do some gaming and let the Chargers win to keep Kansas City or Houston out. I mean, we have a long way to go to get to that point. Don't get me wrong, long way to go, but it's possible.
A question about that.
Yeah.
So let's say you have the number one seed wrapped up. Do you think it's a smart decision by a team to have 2 straight weeks off for your starters and then have to jump into a game? Or is that too much time in between playing a real game and then all of a sudden you're jumping into a playoff game?
I hear what you're saying. Football is such a violent, insane game that I would rather them not play and risk losing 2 of your starters, blowing out their ACL in a game that the results don't matter for you. So I understand there's something to be said about the timing, and I haven't been a part of an NFL team, like the synchronization that's required, like the pass game and communication with coverage. I think it's something that coaches will have to weigh, but personally, I would probably maybe 1 series, 2 series, kind of treat like a preseason game just to get out there and do the preparation, the mental stuff.
Right.
But football is such a violent game. I mean, Scott always says it's the only sport where they don't let you practice because it's so dangerous. So if you can get less reps out there where you could have a season-ending injury to a key player, I think you take it. personally. But again, I'm not a
Yeah.
part of an NFL team, not a part of a
And-
locker room. It's a long time. There's risk regardless. And personally, I hate when a player or a coach or fans like point to like, oh, they shouldn't have rested that. You're playing a good team. I mean, because you're home, there's no guarantees any week, but let alone in the playoffs, right? So like, does it actually matter that much? Maybe mentally, but I don't know. I think long term, if you looked at enough like samples like that, it probably wouldn't matter too much. So I probably lean don't put the starters out there as much as possible because you risk losing the entire playoffs with some starters going down.
Yeah, I would say if you were an offensive team, I'd be more worried. The fact that we're a defensive team, I don't think you need all of that extra chemistry because defense, I mean, I think they can turn it on pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as worried about that for the Broncos, I guess I would say, because the offense has no chemistry at this point. I mean, well, it's up and down, I should say. But we got George Fox coming in saying, I kind of hope that we don't win all the games that we have left. Just go to ground, just to ground the team. Boo. No, I'm just kidding, George.
What a hater.
I understand. I understand that. I mean, I think sometimes winning can help a team gloss over the issues. But at the same time, Sean Payton on Monday, when they were asking him, hey, what have you been thinking about for the bye week? And he was like, penalties. I've been thinking about the penalties of this team and how we've got to clean this up. If we're going to win a championship, we can't get these kind of penalties. So, I mean, I think they still recognize that they've done a good job of self-scouting and saying, okay, this is a problem. And I've always thought the Broncos have done a good job of being able to look at their own team and say, this is a weakness, this is a strength, and not worrying too much about it. I mean, like you look at, I brought it up before, the Bills game last year in the playoffs, where the Broncos get killed on defense, middle of the field. So what do? Go get Greenlaw, go get Hufanga. Now middle of the field is not a problem for the Broncos. And so I think they're going to be okay with being able to self-scout, even if they don't lose a game. I think in some ways it maybe puts a little more pressure on you. If you are 15-2 and everybody's going, okay, well, look at this team. They've beaten the Chiefs twice. They've destroyed their division. They've
won 14 games in a row.
Right. Yeah. 14 games. I mean, I think there's some pressure with that. Teams now have that expectation that you are going to be the favorite, and you should be the favorite. But at the same time, I really do like the chemistry of this team, the makeup of the leaders, and them really kind of keeping people in the right mindset of where they need to be.
Yeah. I mean, good coaches, good programs, you have to like manufacture internal crisis and controversy, adversity. I mean, you see it with like good high school teams or college programs, like good coaching staffs know how to push the buttons and we're not just, fighting these other teams. We're in a competition against ourselves every day. So they statistically speaking, they're going to drop one down the stretch. Like this is a good football team, but I don't think they've been so dominant that it would be like mind blowing if they lost a game so far this season. So I would expect them to drop one at least, but we'll see. Again, it's just one at a time. Take care of the Commanders, stay healthy, keep improving quarterback, figure out what you're going to do with the run game. Patrick Surtain hopefully back soon. And it'll be good. I do want to say hello to some more folks coming in here. Patrick, our guy, Coffee Man, great to see you. Appreciate you. We got Pearl in the house as well. Pearl's always appreciated. Say hi to your corgis for me. Gary Neighbors is in the house. Broncos company number one, best team, 16-2. Wouldn't you want 17-2?
I think 18.
Well, you'd have the bye week, right?
Well, you still play division.
So you'd be
still division, championship, Super Bowl.
Because you'd be 15. 3. You're right. I was thinking of a 16-game season, not 17. Yep. You're right. Regardless, I have a hard time with the math. Now that they added the extra game, they're going to add 18. It's going to be 18 games here before you know it. So whatever. David Youngkin, Bill signed Brandon Cooks to have active roster. That's a team that could use a wide receiver. So that makes a lot of sense. Keon Coleman might be available for cheap this offseason. And Martin says, as long as your wife's still willing to kiss you, you're doing fine. Well, you should have told me that one earlier, Martin. I need to do some soul searching. Phil coming in here. Only 2 games left at possible losses to me. Green Bay and Kansas City. I would love to beat KC and knock them out of the playoffs. The overall league would say that like anybody could beat anybody any given week. this Broncos team, the last 2 seasons under Sean Payton, hasn't like dropped a game that they definitively probably should have won. So like credit to the players and Sean Payton. It's still the NFL, right? And like so you only have a certain amount of possessions and one thing bounces the other way in a close game. I mean, you think about how many close games the Broncos have played this year where, let's say you get one unlucky bounce, you lose to the Raiders, you lose to the Giants. I mean, that's football sometimes, as cliche as it is. So I don't know about like possible, like every game could be a loss possibly, but Green Bay and Kansas City are definitely the most talented teams you have less. But I know the Broncos for sure aren't overlooking anybody. I mean, with how close that Raiders game was, do you think they're overlooking the Raiders? The bye week to create that manufactured internal adversity with the Washington Commander game coming up? No way.
Yeah. And I'd say Jacksonville is probably one of the hardest teams to figure out, where one week they do look like one of the top 5-6 teams in football, and then they might lose to a team that they should beat. Mm-hmm. They're just very up and down. Part of that is because Trevor Lawrence is very up and down as a player. Yes, their defense is very turnover centric, where if they have turnovers, they win games. If they don't have turnovers, they're probably losing the game.
Yep.
And that's just so. And nothing against Bo Nix, but there have been a couple games where he has been prone to turnovers. Mm-hmm. And that's always the great equalizer in football, that you have a couple of those bad ones that gives them a short field. And next thing you know, a team that you shouldn't lose to beats you. And I don't want to take anything from, like we talked earlier, the Chargers are not as good as maybe their record is right now because of injuries. But under Sean Payton, Broncos have not beaten the Chargers yet, if I remember right.
Nope, 0-3.
So that's not a game that I'm saying
that's not true. He's 0-3 versus the Jim Harbaugh Chargers. They beat the Chargers the last game of the Russell Wilson year.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't want to completely look over that game and just say, oh, if it's at home, Chargers are this way right now. That's still, they got a quarterback. They got some weapons. Defensively, they got some guys that can really destroy game plan. They got really good coaching. And so I'm not going to say that's an automatic win. I do agree. I think the Broncos are more talented than every team but those two that were listed there. And I'd say that they're comparable in talent to what Green Bay and the Chiefs bring to the table. It's just every week I'm still going to be nervous. Every week I'm going to be sitting there going, oh crap, Washington, like they have a couple of these guys, maybe something could happen. And we got Shiloh asking the question, will anyone be at the Jacksonville game? That will be my first ever Broncos game in Denver. That is awesome. Hopefully that is a great day for you. Hopefully great weather. And, that's another, some weather is moving in this weekend. Could make that a sloppy game against Washington for the Broncos. But no, Shiloh, hopefully you, like I said, you'll go have a great time. I still remember my very first Broncos game. And I think I was, 8 or 9 years old when I went to my first one, sat in the south stands of the old stadium. And that place was rocking. A bunch of Chiefs fans and Broncos fans kept getting into fist fights in front of me. Guy next to me kept trying to get me to get a tattoo. And it was blizzard. It was just so many awesome things going on with that game. And like I said, I'll never forget that chance with my dad that he and I got to go to that game. Hopefully yours is as memorable. I don't know if maybe I don't wish all those things on you, but no, hopefully it is a great time for you.
Yeah, no, and if you find any extra tickets, let me know because I'd love to go. That's probably the cheapest remaining game other than that Chargers game. So because Green Bay, pay a pretty penny for that one. That's for darn sure. Denver Luke, howdy, great to see you, Denver. Appreciate you. Jordan says he wants to see a clean offensive game. I mean, Sean, you kind of you talked about part of it already, Carl, with Sean Payton wanting to clean up the penalties. That would be big. It doesn't have to be necessarily in a clean offensive game. I mean, that'd be great. Like, play a clean offensive game, you're probably going to beat the Commanders handily. But let's have a game where we're clean up in the penalties, and let's have a +3 turnover game where you're clean on your side and that 3 turnovers on that Washington Commander side. That would be Mariota. Having watched him with the Falcons and sometimes with, just in general over his career, ever since he suffered that injury. I mean, he'll put some floaters out there. So like credit to him, I guess the backup quarterback, go big or go home. But you're gonna have a chance to put your hands on some footballs. Let's see Hafanga come down with one. It's the only complaint so far this season. I know, man, Jesus. But yeah, that's Sean Payton talked about the takeaways specifically. Not. I don't think he was specific about turnovers in general. I think he said defensively taking the ball away is something they have to be better at, which is something I've been hounding him. The statistics point to it as well. And then, of course, the penalties. So that'd be great. Good comment, Jordan. Appreciate you so much. Hope you're doing well. We got Glenn Ashley coming in from down under. Good afternoon, Nick and Carl in Broncos country. So pumped to see what we come out with against the Commanders. With Wonger, Respo has had his feet under him. The team schemed well, adding more Pat Bryant, State of Being, Broncos for life. I'll be curious to see what they do as well. This stat still might not hold, but there is kind of a pretty good efficiency metric for quarterback play, Carl. It's first downs or touchdowns per pass attempt. So like it's showing that like you're not only completing the ball, but like you're moving the ball, you're hitting it vertically. And 3 of the top 5 games this season for quarterbacks in that statistic have been against the Commanders. So like you can obliterate them. I mean, it is not a good defense. It's one of the reasons they're kind of one of the examples of like why, we should just re-sign every single one of our pending defensive free agents. Like you can get old, expensive, and slow and injured really fast if you pay the old guys 3rd, 4th contracts continuously. And boy, that Commanders team looks old and slow.
I was already questioning their secondary heading into the season because I didn't feel like they put enough quite into that group. But then defensive line has not looked good. Linebackers have looked slow. It's just been not a good unit overall. And which is interesting since head coach is a defensive guy, you'd kind of think, hey, this is the unit that would really take that next step. And
slow.
Yeah. So, I mean, Troy Franklin with his speed, this is a game. Marvin Mims, figure out a way to get him a few more touches and see what he can do with it.
I mean, let's get a pop from RJ Harvey.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that's the other one. The run game. Hopefully it's another one of those run games that we can get the run game going, get some confidence for that young guy at being the number 1 running back on this roster. Because at this point, it doesn't look like the Broncos are bringing in anybody. This would have been the day probably that you try to go get somebody off a roster. Broncos didn't do it. So I guess they're kind of sticking with their guys. I know they made a push for Damian Pierce, sorry. And he went to the Chiefs. I'm still like, I get it. They're the champion or the AFC champions. They've been one of the best teams in football. Well, they have been the best team in football for the last several years. But what he does, they've already got 2 guys that do that. So I just, from that perspective, he's not going to get a whole lot of touches in that environment. And needing a contract, I just can't see how that's going to work out. And talking about something that does work out, though, is Cash App. The holidays are all about finding the perfect gift. But this time of year, not every deal is actually what it seems. Scammers are getting more creative to trick people into sharing their payment info through methods like fake shopping sites and giveaways that are too good to be true. Luckily, Cash App's 24/7 fraud monitoring helps detect and alert you for unusual card activity should someone gain access to your card. So you can act fast if something seems off. You can also lock and unlock your Cash App card instantly right in the app for extra control and peace of mind. Stay one step ahead of scams this season and keep your money secure with Cash App.
For a limited time, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, just download Cash App, use our exclusive referral code SECURE10 in your profile. Again, that's SECURE10. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. Incorporated brand. Visit Cash App/legal/podcast for full disclosures. All right, let's say hello to some more folks in the chat. Remember, click those thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share. Phil asks, is McLaughlin now the running back too? I mean, based on touches and carries, he was. Maybe Bidet emerges, but right now it is seeming like McLaughlin, and hopefully they'll figure out something at the running back. I mean, the thing about Pierce, it'd have been Denver wanted him, but if they really, really wanted him, they'd have claimed him off waivers or they'd have tried to sign him onto the active roster. They did not. So like, it's one of those things like, oh yeah, you're nice to have, but they didn't feel like they needed him, right? Because they had avenues if they felt like they needed him.
It's true. And they still could get him.
Yeah.
Like I said, they could go talk to him off of the Chiefs practice squad, say, hey, we want to bring you onto our active roster and give you a real shot here. So it's not like that idea is completely dead. But NFL teams showed you they don't think as highly of him as maybe some fans do. Like a lot of people remember his rookie season. It was a great rookie season, but he hasn't really done much since then. And you look at Houston, like they've had injuries to that running back room, and they're still like, hey, this is not the guy. And so I think he could have been a helper for the Broncos, but I also, just knowing that I've heard a few things about some of his personality, maybe he wouldn't have been the best fit in the locker room. The Broncos have a very, very good locker room right now. And I would worry if they bring in something that could disrupt some of that. And talking about who somebody that doesn't disrupt is Mike S. coming in saying, what's up, Nick, Carl, and Broncos country? Good to see you. And I was thinking about you the other day, Mike. Somebody put out a new mock draft, and they had the LA Rams trading up to get your quarterback from Alabama. And I was just thinking, I wonder what he would think about that, of him going to LA and sitting maybe for a year behind Matthew Stafford and then getting the opportunity to take over. And it kind of stinks. The rich get richer in that sense of LA. They have such an incredible roster. I think they have like 86 million in cap space this offseason. And Matthew Stafford probably coming off an MVP season.
Don't bring up what picks they have.
I know sorry. Oh yeah, I forgot. Got our guy in the background there, but still, like I said, that's a good situation there. But I love the Alabama player we got that maybe is coming back this week. Hopefully, It sounds like there's a really good chance he's going to be playing on Sunday. And another guy that will be playing, or I can't say 100%, but he wants to play this Sunday, is Alex Singleton. Like, this is a Hollywood story level of a guy that played pretty much, well, he played one game for sure knowing he had cancer, another game wondering if he's going to be suspended for games for not knowing if he took steroids or not, and then has his surgery a day after playing a game and misses one game, and now might be back for this Washington game and finish out the season. I mean, it's just incredible to see the love of football that he has. And I was listening to the Good Morning America interview that he had today, and he said the doctors were trying to talk to him about, are they going to do chemo? Or are they going to do radiation? Those kind of things. Or is he going to be able to have kids after this? And all he said, all I was thinking about is, when can I get back to play football? Like he loves playing football. His biggest worry about telling his teammates was he felt like he was letting them down by having to miss some time. And he was scared to tell them because he didn't want to disappoint them. And I'm just like, man, this guy, it just, maybe he's not the best player on the field, but there might not be anybody on that field that loves football more than him or this team. And that's saying something, because there's a lot of guys that love football, but he loves being out there. And the idea that he could be out there for this Commanders game, I am one that's very, very excited to see him back on the field.
Yeah, I mean, from a humanitarian perspective or a humanity perspective, like, it's incredible what's happening with him. I mean, shout out again to the Broncos organization for doing everything they could and getting him the best imaging, the best doctors, and like really quick time, doing all the scheduling for him. Didn't have to think about it. So that's incredible. I mean, how quickly it's turned around to he's maybe going to be playing. It sounds like good bet to get Alex Singleton for this game. I will say, I do think that the Broncos are maybe spoiled to an extent because Singleton, like, he'll be back out there. He's been the green dot guy, but Stranada's played really well. And I think Greenlaw brings a violence that the other two linebackers don't have on the field. Now, that's not to take away. It's just Greenlaw's a crazy unleashed dog, out there. Like, hide your kids, hide your wife. He's a scary dude. What you want on the football field at linebacker. So getting Singleton back will be good. I think it'll re-energize the defense. Give them a little bit more focus, especially coming off the bye week. Everything's going pretty well right now. Well, now we got our captain back, guy that they love in the locker room. Coaches, let's focus, let's lock in. So that's great. But I am a little bit not concerned, but I think you would have probably been okay with Stranad and Greenlaw as well. And I'm going to be curious to see what the snap distribution looks like with Singleton back. Maybe he gets the Greenlaw slower snap count coming back, missing some time. Granted, it's a little different than the lingering hamstring issue that Greenlaw has had. I don't think there's an aggravation issue as well. And Roy's saying a Wattenberg deal. I'm going to go check this right now to see if that's the case, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing of like, Twitter, pull it up real quick. Is this real? And yes, it is. Yep. And wow. And somebody just asked the question right before that. Who do you think? I think McLaughlin. Guys, you may have answered this already, but whose contract, in your opinion, gets handled next? I was about just to pull that up and be like, yep, Wattenberg, I think, is the guy that they're working the hardest on. 4 years. That's the part that shocks me. Not that they got a deal done with him, but that it's that long.
Hey, hold down the fort for a second. I'm going to give Chad a call real quick because that's kind of my MO. So talk to me about Wattenberg. What does this mean for the offensive line?
Well, it means the Broncos see this unit as a whole is an incredible strength. And Wattenberg, while he has not been a great center in his couple years of starting, I think you could easily say that the last 6 games have been some of his best. I think he's really starting to trend in the right direction. And he has a comfort level with Bo Nix. He has a comfort level with the guys around him. So I really do think the Broncos view this offensive line. This is a unit we've got to keep together as long as we possibly can. And Sean Payton, and this is his MO. Like when he was with the Saints, yes, you can talk about the different weapons that they had of Michael Thomas and Colquitt and so many other guys that you can look at. But it was the offensive line that really was such a big part of what he wanted to be, that we can dominate up front. We can beat you with the run. We can beat you with the pass. And our quarterback is going to stay safe. Wattenberg, he hasn't been great in the run, but he's always been a very solid guy in the pass game. And if you are really wanting to build up your young quarterback, you make them feel comfortable back there. And Bo Nix, he's still working on that. He's still working on being able to trust that his guys up front are going to do their job. And this last game was probably one of his best, of really staying in the pocket, trusting that his guys are going to do their job, and him being able to work through his progressions. And hopefully that's what continues moving forward. But I think just having these 5 guys, and I do expect really good chance that even Ben Powers is back, maybe on a reworked contract, but they've really liked him as well. And then they've got a few other guys in the works that Zach Strife has really worked with that they think could be future starters on this team. And it's just amazing to see this offensive line a few years ago be one of those things that everybody, like when we were doing the comments, they'd be like, oh, when can we draft an offensive lineman? Can we please work on this unit? To now it's like, man, these guys are good. And it just, you don't see a real true weakness across the group. And that's what you need as an offensive line.
Yeah. I mean, had to call Chad. So he said I'm a prince among princes. So we'll take that. I don't know. Is he hitting on me? God bless you, Chad. Shout out to the boss man. But no, it's great. Broncos get a 4-year deal for Wattenberg. Obviously, we don't know what the details are yet. Shout out to Roy Osborne, our own Adam Schefter at the group chat here, letting us know. But this is something that has been the biggest point of emphasis ever since Sean Payton came in. And that was a heavy investment in the offensive line. I know people want first-round picks, but you're talking about now, I mean, this, depending on what happens with Powers, but right now there's no way they're not slated to be the number 1 most expensive offensive line in football next season when you have 5 second or third-year contract guys. And you have 2 first-round picks there, and Miner's got a big deal. Powers is being paid big. We'll see about Wattenberg as well. Center is the least paid position across the offensive line, average allotted value. But I'm pretty surprised, honestly. Had heard some internal options as well, maybe Forsyth, but this Broncos front office has earned the benefit of the doubt. So we'll be curious to see what the details are on this. Again, 4 years. I'd imagine it's probably a 2-1-1 kind of contract for the Broncos overall. And this puts Powers a little bit on notice. I think you can free up $10 million with about $8 million dead. Somebody can correct me on that. Look at Spot Rack or whatever. That's off the top of my head. So if I know that, Nick, go spend some time with your family. Goodness. But we're on Powers watch. And also for left guard, obviously Palczewski has played admirably there. Not great against the Chiefs, but has played admirably. And you have some internal guys as well. If you recall, Carl, in preseason before he got injured in camp and the first preseason game, Nick Gargiulo was awesome at left guard and getting more and more reps there as well. So left guard could be a battle between those guys, maybe a veteran swing option as well if they do move on from Powers. But good to see the Broncos invest in them. Wattenberg, not a dominant run blocker at center, but there's not many like move guys off the point of attack, dominant run blocking centers. And he's gotten much better at the point of attack and anchoring against power options as well. So happy for Wattenberg, 5th round pick from the Broncos out of University of Washington, and getting a 4-year deal for the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. I mean, of all the potential free agents, he was probably pretty far down on my list of guys that I wanted to sign. Malcolm Roach, JFM, those kind of guys. Even Justin Strnad is one that I'd love to see the Broncos bring back, because I do think he could be a starter level linebacker. You put him next to Greenlaw after this year, and I think you still got a very strong linebacker crew there. But I think the thing I like here, let's say you do have to move on from Ben Powers. The idea of replacing 2 guys, if you lost Wattenberg as well, that's a lot of change on an offensive line. I mean, that's 40% of your offensive line gone that you've got to figure out. That's been a very strong unit for you. Not saying you can't do it, but just saying that I think it would have been a lot tougher to feel good about the offensive line for this next year. And so having 4 of your guys locked up for sure. 5th guy, I mean, he is locked up. He's actually on a contract. Mm-hmm. And I think if he stays, it's probably on a rework deal. I don't think he's going to stay on his cap hit and what he's going to be. But like I said, it just makes your quarterback feel better. It makes your offense like, hey, we've already got this. Now let's figure out the rest of this. We don't have to go spend money on this. We don't have to go use a huge draft pick to solve this problem. It's already solved. You like to have as few problems going into the offseason as you possibly can.
Yeah, no doubt. So we'll see the details when they come out for Wattenberg. I don't know if those will be announced until later. And Phil asks, what about Forsyth? Forsyth, backup guard and center and competing for a spot this upcoming season. Had a few opportunities and didn't play great when you did have them. There was that New Orleans game against a dreadful New Orleans defense in that Thursday night game. But other than that, we have not really seen him so much. And Shiloh asks, is Wattenberg deal lesson from Cushenberry? Cush wanted all too great to start either, but priced his way out of Denver with his last year. I don't think there's a lesson here other than Denver made the right choice with Cushenberry, because Cushenberry got like the 2nd or 3rd highest paid center contract, and he has been not good. They are looking to get out of that deal in Tennessee. So we'll see. I mean, Denver gets younger, draft, develop, retain for this front office. So you like that at the end of the day. And the Broncos, I mean, George Payton, Sean Payton talking about, working on some contracts for guys. Shout out to Mike Kliss. I think we talked about it at the start of the show. I don't know if we did or not, but he said there was 2 guys that there was work being done on, Wattenberg and Malcolm Roach, and bang, there's Wattenberg's contract first announced by Kliss. So maybe we're on Malcolm Roach watch now. Obviously, JFM is the prize of the Broncos pending free agents, but according to, I think it was Chris Thomason, said that there has not been any headway on any contract talk between the 2. So we're on Malcolm Roach watch now, but relatively happy to see Wattenberg back. I think he's the weakest of the unit when all starters are out there, but depending on the deal, that's fine. And continuity is huge for the offensive line.
Right. And like I said, some of his best games have been his last few. So maybe you are viewing it as this is the time to get him locked in. Let's say he closes out the season stronger. Maybe you were able to get a little bit of a discount now compared to then. So we got to wait till the contract deal comes out. I don't know. maybe he is only making 15th best center contract, or even let's say top 12, but
top 10 would be fine. Because like, think about how many are like getting absolutely nothing contracts.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
right. And you got rookie contracts in there as well that are going to be a part of that. So I don't think it's probably going to be too crazy of a deal, but here we go. Broncos are signing Luke Wattenberg to a 4-year, $48 million extension, including $27 million guaranteed per source. Pelissero is that source. So there you go. 4-year, $48 million, $12 million a year, I guess, on average. And probably, well, like I said, 2-year deal with more to go through.
Yeah. I'll still be interested to see how every year is broken down with the deads and everything, but shout out to Scott in the background pulling that info immediately. And that's not a terrible contract off the top of the head. Again, it's only as terrible as it is the sliding scale of the other centers, but maybe if you loop it in with the 11 or the interior offensive line in general, it's not as bad. And Scott says 12.5 puts him tied with Lloyd Cushenberry, who signed 2 off seasons ago, despite the cap increasing a good bit as well. And I would be curious about a lot of this is the guaranteed money as well, and how that's set up on the contracts. He might not ever see that 4th year, or even maybe the 3rd year of the contract. So yeah, I'm happy, I guess, for him. Again, I'm not like the biggest Luke Wattenberg drum banger, but it's one less thing to worry about this offseason and getting guys locked up so you can head into the offseason holistically, especially the draft, which is key at the end of the day. You want to have maximum flexibility and options so you can take the best talent possible and not be pigeonholed into one singular position.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not the best guy by any means that we've signed. I mean, most of the other players the Broncos have re-signed or whatever, guys that you're going, yep, for sure, you got to get that done. Patrick Surtain, Nick Bonito, those kind of guys. And so this one's not going to move the needle as much for a lot of people, but keeping that offensive line together is such a huge underrated thing. I think it was Detroit not too long ago lost a couple of their guys, and we saw their offensive line start to go a little bit more downhill. And their offense this year is struggling a little bit more than it has been. It's been a little bit more up and down than years past. And I mean, Jared Goff was getting destroyed. Was it this past Sunday or the week before, where he was just getting destroyed on a couple plays? So I think this will be good for the Broncos in the long term. And just like I said, takes another thing off the checklist that you got to get done for the offseason.
Yeah. I mean, again, one less thing to worry about. Now the eye becomes on Powers. I could see the Broncos moving on from Powers in the wake of this deal and going with Gargiulo and Palczewski at left guard, and that still leaves the option for going offensive line round 1. I mean, you have those 2 guys there. They're kind of the money ball option, but let's say you absolutely adore Caden Proctor and he falls into your lap. Left tackle, but probably a better guard / right tackle in the league. Palczewski / Gargiulo probably not keeping me from adding to the line again. I mean, look what the Broncos are doing right now. I don't think there is such a thing as projecting an underinvestment from Sean Payton at this point along the offensive line. So happy for him. 2 years. It's pretty much a 2 years deal, $25 million in the first 2 years. And then after that, year by year basis, I would assume is how it's broken down. So not a terrible deal by any means for the Broncos. And again, assuming you're some turnover from Ben Powers, getting younger and turning over the offensive line, which is necessary in team building.
Yeah. I wonder how old he is. Is he 26, maybe 27?
He was a little
Somewhere
older.
there,
I'm assuming he's probably 26, 27.
Okay. So, I mean, and that's young for an offensive lineman, reality of today's NFL. 28. There you go. I mean, it's still young for an offensive lineman.
Yeah, he's in his prime.
They can play into their 30s, no problem. And so, again, maybe the Broncos do see better days ahead for him. Maybe they've seen something start to click the last few weeks that have really made him go, okay, yep, this guy, we think he could be a big part of the future for this offensive line. And I don't hate it. I don't love it. It doesn't really, I mean, it moves the needle a little bit for me because, again, I don't have to worry about Are we putting an unknown at the center position? We know what we've got in him.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's something to that for sure. But this is a smart move by the Broncos to keep one of your strongest units strong.
Yeah. And Nick Corti, who does some of the best contract work over on Twitter and Over the Cap, tweets out, I had envisioned a floor for a team-friendly contract around $13.25 million APY for Luke Wattenberg, given the increased salary cap. He says to get Wattenberg extended for only $12 million APY strikes me as a bargain for the Broncos, and written earlier that he could, on the open market, maybe even get $15 million per year. So happy to see that for the Broncos. He's the sixth highest paid center, tied fifth around that range. And always happy for the guys who have worked hard, especially the day three picks, offensive linemen that have developed and earned that life-changing money now. So shout out to Wattenberg, and also now somebody that, let's see what happens with Zach Strief. But if he's gone, not going to be able to be picking off Wattenberg as well with the offensive line. I know we've talked that a lot about Vance Joseph and some of these pending free agents, but not as much with the offensive staff. But Strief is on the short list of some guys who might get picked off for offensive coordinator spots on other teams. So we'll see what happens. Phil asks, will we draft an offensive line guy this year? The question always depends on the board in front of you. Especially with how this Broncos team has been approaching free agency and retaining their own guys. They try to approach the draft as holistically as possible. So you try to go in with as few needs and let the board and your evaluations of those individual prospects dictate the direction you go. So we'll see. It's possible. Under George Paton, the Broncos have been pretty much a round one offensive tackle or bust team, which I don't think is honestly the worst direction to go. Like if you're using a day three pick on an offensive tackle, you're kind of living in the lottery pick reality.
Yeah.
It's kind
of like wait for an undrafted guy.
Yeah, at that point, like the teams, there's always guys who slip through the cracks, right? But teams know the physical profile of a starting NFL tackle in the league, and you don't see many good ones fall outside of the top 40 picks, let alone the top 20. So yeah, we'll see. You should probably be looking to it at an offensive line every 3 drafts, if possible. But I don't think we drafted one last year. Did we? No.
It would have been a late round guy.
I don't think they did. And also
7th round
right now, I don't think they did. I'm 99% sure now that I've run through the names in my head. 2 defensive linemen, but no offensive linemen. So I'd expect at least one this season. Also, Broncos in line to have a comp pick for VJ. I think they had a comp pick for Williams and somebody else possibly coming. And you might get a comp pick for Kelly Klein leaving on top of the Vele trade. So a lot of picks. I would imagine there's some offensive line picks coming their way. It's happy for Wattenberg. And now I just feel like we're waiting for the Roach deal to be announced, right? It feels inevitable at this point, but talked a lot today. Breaking news. I don't think we've ever had breaking news like that on the podcast, Carl. We have a lot of stuff we get to talk about on Tuesdays, but it doesn't normally happen when we're live. So history.
Right. It's usually right before the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. We'll take it. We'll always remember Wattenberg now as that guy that came right during the middle of our show. And I did want to answer somebody's question earlier. Somebody asked, when is Ben Powers coming back? And from what I understand, they always had kind of a timeline of somewhere in December.
Mid-December.
So that'd be a few weeks away, 2-3 weeks away. So maybe back for Jaguars or Packers game, one of those two, somewhere in there. And when he comes back, do you expect him to have the starting spot, or would you go to Palczewski?
I do. No, I expect him to have the starting spot. I mean, they'll know better than we will, right? So they'll see what he looks like, how rusty he is and everything. But I do expect him back in the starting lineup. He's just a better blocker than Wattenberg or than Palczewski is, especially a lot of the run game stuff. So I would expect him inserted back into the lineup. But Carl, we got to get on out of here. I want your final score for the Commanders-Broncos game, Sunday Night Football.
I really wish I knew exactly how the weather is going to be. If it's going to be nasty and windy and snowy, then I'd probably go lower score. But I'm going to assume that it's going to be good weather. Sunday night under the lights. I do think the Broncos are going to get that offense going. I think they're going to have run game really take over at times. Maybe not consistently, but I think it's going to be better than what it's been like this last game against the Chiefs. And I think Bo Nix is going to have himself quite the game. So I'm going to say I'll go 30-10 in this one. I know the Broncos haven't really been blowing out anybody other than a couple games, but I think this is one of those games where they do get things rolling pretty early and just make it a nice, easy Sunday evening.
Yeah,
that's what I'd like. I'd like to not have a heart-stopping, oh crap, we have to make a play to win this game right now. I don't think it's going to be that.
I would like half of America watching the game to turn it off and get ready for the work week ahead. I want that kind of game where they're in control. This is boring. I guess I'm going to go get the kids' lunch ready instead of having to wake up and do it in the morning. Like that's what I'm hoping for. Just, control. Hopefully the defense really comes in and does that. And hopefully it's with Singleton and Surtain, who we're on watch for right now. Carl, a lot of fun today. Shout out to Luke Wattenberg. Shout out to all our super chat givers at Papa Bear, Shiloh as well. George Fox, appreciate all you guys coming in. Make sure you're following Carl and I on Twitter. Carl's at Carl Dumler, MHH. I'm at Kendell, MHH. Also, we're at Mile High Huddle. Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle and Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. And subscribe, like, and share. As that ticker says there underneath, shout out to Scott in the background with all the good information producing the show. And it's a great for the Broncos. It's a great time. Happy to have Wattenberg sign back and guys getting healthier. I'm hoping that at some point down the line, I'm manifesting like J.K. Dobbins is ahead of schedule. He'll be ready for the first playoff game. That would be great as well. But things are coming up Broncos so far this season, and let's hope that trend continues. Any final thoughts, Carl, before we wrap on it up and see you again next week?
No, just excited for Bronco football to be back. It was relaxing to watch games and not have as much on the line. The Chiefs-Colts game, I kind of told myself it was a win-win. If Chiefs lose, I feel really good about it because I love to see the Chiefs lose. But if Colts lose, it helps the Broncos. So either way, I was going to be happy on Sunday. And wish a couple other games would have broke our way. Cincinnati beating the Patriots. But you know what? Broncos sitting at the number 2 seed right now. A lot of winnable games ahead of them. I'm excited for Bronco football again.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a little PSA. Given it is the holiday season, Thanksgiving, I know it's a great time of year with a lot of friends and family and food and football, but it can be a pretty isolating time as well. So just know that you guys are not alone during this time of year. Make sure you text or call 988 if you're feeling down in the dumps and thinking about doing anything permanent. You are not alone, and we love you, and we appreciate all you guys coming in here. Even the trolls in the chat, not many today, but every once in a while we get them. So you guys as well. Hope for you nothing but the best. And times can be tough, but nothing, a lot of stuff is temporary. So just wanted to give that PSA as well. Love all you guys. Have a good one. Love you, Carl. Good to see you, Scott. We'll see you in the morning. Love you too, Scott. And Scott and I'll see you in the morning for the Falcons, and I'll see you guys Friday morning for the Broncos. Until then, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy. Congrats, Wattenberg. Kindness and compassion. Go Broncos.